to be very careful.
Absolutely.
Well, then we've got to take out one drawback of this type of system is that each zoom or pan operation requires the downloading, and downloading is definitely the wrong word, of additional data over the network.
Line 8?
Yeah, that's all wrong.
What page are we on?
Oh, we're on page 3, line 8. One drawback of this type of system is that each zoom or pan operation requires the downloading of additional data over the network connection. Well, that's not exactly what
We're talking about the art, save the art now.
the mapping, the travel.
We're not talking about our system.
Okay. Okay. Then that's
That's
fine.
exactly what the disadvantage of the system is, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's not designed to work that way. It's designed to be an integral component of the displaying system.
Although it's
and that's what we're talking about, the Yahoo map.
Right, but let me ask you
once
this.
again, however, it's not
Wait,
limited to the network
Let me ask you this
connection.
question, because I don't see networks at all right. Let's just look at the Yahoo Map program.
Okay.
I've got it on CD-ROM.
Okay, no, that's okay. I know what we're dealing with. When you move, whether you move on a network or off the network, it grabs that image and it's different than what we look like.
Right.
There's a definite difference of how those two things work.
Right.
Do you follow me, Doug? So it doesn't matter whether it's on your hard drive drawing the data, over a network drawing the data. What matters is that you perceive a difference between the way that the Yahoo map goes and grabs another closer section of the map, and you're stuck there. Now you can't move back without going backwards to that other image, or to the left to that other image, or to the right to that other image, and all these things are broken down into other image, basically.
Right, you're getting another, what you called the hotspot. These are all hotspots.
Right, which is that technically a new file?
It's a new file.
Then maybe that's our differentiation.
You have to be careful.
Well, we don't go from another file.
No, but they may not go for
They might say that's all in one file.
Right.
Right.
So that really.
I think they are going for another file because whenever you click on a map,
But Brian's right. So what? Even if they were,
Right.
and it was 8 million files, we could combine it into one and call it one.
Yeah. See,
But then have you just made what we do?
you really have to be very careful because you don't know how they've organized and structured that the whole mapping system.
You know what you do, Doug? You describe the optic. You say this is what you see with their system, and this is what you see with ours.
that's what we're trying to do.
And let's not get too complicated. Let's let that get explained out over time. If somebody
you
wants,
can't. That's the key. That's what our frustration is as patent attorneys. We have to define your invention in legal, technical words. You can't wave your hands at it. If you do, you won't get a claim through the
you
patent
can't
office.
say it looks
You have
prettier.
to get it through the patent office. It won't be upheld in court.
Can't say it looks prettier, huh?
No, you can't. And that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. I'd love to say it's when it looks like Iviewit technology.
Well, explain to me what's happening in my brain then on an electrical signal impulse, because there is a definite perception difference between what I see, why I see it differently, and how it relates to what I do, which gives you a completely different spatial representation within an image because of the way that I'm manipulating data. See, I always looked at our technology just so, and maybe this stupidity might define something here. I always looked at when you take that big image of ours versus one technology where you could, let's say we both have big pictures, okay? Let's just say we both start with a big picture and a small viewing frame. One says you can move the frame or the picture and get a new image of that image, or even go deeper on it by drawing another whole separate image, okay? Mine, I always looked at is that put the frame in the center, and as you hit zoom, you're sucking in data towards you that's coming from the outside peripheral, not in separate little chunks and new images, but as one image, and it's pulling it into like a vortex, so to speak, and giving you that new data to let you zoom or move. Follow me?
Let me ask a clarifying question of Brian. When we transmit a file to a user, he gets the entire file into a temp file. he manipulates the image on his screen. As I zoom to level 1 and then to level 2 and level 3, or I pan within it, what sort of access to that file is made by the computer, let's say?
It varies.
Okay, but there is regular access back and forth to data points within the file.
Yeah, part of the picture may be residing on the file. Part of it may be in active RAM.
Doug, let me ask you to try to help me define
Go
something.
over that. That's part of the system management.
Take a frame.
Memory.
Okay.
It's sitting in a local memory space.
Take a small piece of paper and make a frame.
Memory may be on the hard drive.
Okay?
It's not sitting there as a file.
You ready?
It's there
There's
as a-
access back to files.
You got a little square piece of paper?
Oh, you want me to cut it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got a sticky yellow pad
Oh,
here.
perfect. Use that on top of your patent application. Put it in the center.
Okay.
In my thinking, and I don't understand it, when we do the prior art, when we take that frame and we want to see the upper left corner, now remember our piece of sticky's in the center.
Right.
We now want to go to the upper left corner. We've got to move the frame over to the upper left corner, and now we're seeing that part of the paper.
Which means you're moving the viewing window over a huge image.
Or you're moving the image to fit in the frame. Okay.
But with,
Now with mine, put that viewing window in the center again. And let's say you want to zoom in or go to this zoom in. What you're really doing is sucking in this data, aren't you? You'd be almost pulling through the paper through that frame. That's why you have that effect.
No, what you're doing is you're scaling the
scaling the total image. Or that
scaling the total image to fit
What are they?
or to fit a reduced size window.
They're leaving the image as it is.
Then there is a defining difference.
Oh, I know. That's why you call zooming in. That's why the invention is described the way it is. And that's why when I do all the pictures, it shows all those relationships.
It shows.
That's why it's designed. It's laid out that way.
Can we define our zooming
Because there's a scaling that
as a
takes
scaling
place into
mechanism?
the viewing window.
That's the question.
What?
Can you
Should we define our zooming as the scaling of the image to a different window? Which is the normal way I think of zooming and scaling. I don't think of
The effect of zooming is to rescale the target image into the viewing window, or some portion of the target image. What you're doing is when you zoom in, you're narrowing from scaling the complete target image to a portion of the target image. And then what you're able to do is take that scaled portion and move it around through the entire image. But it's at a given scale level. You don't have to recompute for every portion of the image.
Fine with what we're doing. I just think we gotta. There's this topic number 14 to be cognizant of as we go through this, to make sure that we distinguish our zooming from hotspot zooming by grabbing another file.
Right.
Our zooming is scaling.
Well, don't say by grabbing another file, because it would be argued that that set of hotspots could be combined into a single file. And it definitely could be designed that way. I mean, I could write the file to be that.
But it would be another file.
No? I could take all 5 hotspots and write them into one file.
It could all be in one file.
Right, exactly. So you got to be very careful here of what the difference is. It's such a minute, yet it's such a profound difference what we do.
But it is another image.
It is another, right, not another file. That's the difference, right.
It's another image?
Yeah.
Of course, a hotspot would be a second shot of that image at a closer scale, at a closer view, but it could be combined in one file in the end, even though it's 2 separate images. And the hotspot could drive right through it in a single file source. So we got to be.
I'm thinking that the mechanism for our zoom is to do the scaling kind of on the fly as you're walking around. We never go grab for another file.
We never.
Hotspot or not, and how many you put in there. See, what I'm worried about is, don't you have hotspot
same attributes as our current files, so it's just grabbing another enhanced digital image.
It's grabbing another image, and you don't have to define it as a separate file, just grabbing another image. But let me tell you what I think, trying to differentiate between some of these systems and what we have. We have, if you think of the target image plus the user interface, we have an encapsulated image. It is an encapsulated image that is bound into a file that is transported as an encapsulated object, and it is manipulated as an object. And you zoom into that object. It is an object. Whereas in the mapping system, your object is really the whole map system, whatever that is, and
it's a system application. So.
Right. What happens with the mapping system is the application will create mapped objects according to what you.
Part 2 of the tape.
Which are then handled individually as you need them or as you request them. What we're talking about is an encapsulated image which has all these attributes contained within that encapsulation.
And that would be true whether or not it's on a hard drive?
Right.
I guess that's right, yeah.
And so we are striking downloading and additional data over the network connection. Because prior art didn't need that either. Prior art doesn't need that to do Yahoo's map. You don't need a network, and you don't need more data over that network. See, you can never beat this argument. A network is just a hard drive. Because really, in the end, all you've done is added a cable to your hard drive. And all you're talking about is the length of that cable, really. So networks are not applicable really to what we do. They are added value benefit that we can get through that cable quicker or whatever, but they are not the key. There is the network could be considered the cable between your hard drive and the display. You know what I mean, Brian? We don't need any.
No, but what you want to do is you want to make sure that you specifically address a network environment in addition to
Totally agree.
the system. You absolutely want to make sure that the
That's
network
huge.
is explicit.
Well, as an additional wire, meaning it's got different properties.
And that's the way the frames are.
Okay, you follow that, Doug?
No. You do it, slow it down.
Sure. Okay, it's all based on this. You can do our invention off a hard drive, and it's still cool. The fact that you can transmit it over a fat pipe or a small pipe or FedEx it has no bearing. It does what Brian says. It is more valuable in a network environment because it now has the attribute to give